Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. It's Gemma. I'm coming to you today to talk about expressing yourself. A very, very important thing that we definitely do not do enough of. We've always been taught how to sit down and shut up, be quiet, do as thou told. Never really told how to, or even taught for that matter, how to express ourselves truthfully. And it is a very vital part for developing boundaries for yourself, for your relationships, having better relationships with your friends, your family, your significant other, if there is one involved in your life, your job. And a lot of the time it comes with a lot of fear because we feel that if we were to tell people how we feel, to express our honest truth about things, that we will be punished, we will be ridiculed, we will be banished. And it's a deep-rooted fear that's come from many, many generations before us. But it is really required that it is an essential part of all of us as human beings in relation to knowing who we are, what we're striving for, and connection. Basically, it builds the foundation for our successes. And whether that be in your personal finance, relationships, whatever it is, being able to express yourself truthfully is a very vital part in that. Now, an example I know for myself personally, I have always struggled to express myself to my father. Always feeling that should I tell him how I feel, I will just get the response of like, don't worry about it, get on with it, it doesn't matter. You know, there's no connection of actually taking it on board. It's always like quick fix, move on, let's go. I know working with clients as well, this has been a big factor. Like, parental influence is massive, and it's not a blame game, it's more an awareness game. That a lot of it is learned behaviors from when we were younger, and a lot of that came from our parents' and their parents, and it's just patterns that have come down the chain. And I know for a lot of the generations now, we're starting to wake up and realize that there is so much more, and these behaviors need to stop and be resolved, and we need to be able to express ourselves freely. And I know, like I said, clients have had this same issue. It's, you know, they feel they can't speak to their parents about how they make them feel because, you know, a lot of us feel like we should be grateful for the life that we've been given. And the last thing we want to do is upset our parents or make them think that like they've done something wrong as a parent, or same goes for our relationships, our workplace, whatever it is. But when you're coming from a place of truth, there will be no ramifications. I know every time I have been so scared to talk my truth and express how I feel, I have shit myself. And then I am shaking. My heart is racing. And then as soon as I do it, you know, it feels like this big sense of relief, this sense of peace. I know, speaking to my dad only recently, and I developed an old behavior, which was to overreact and be a bit dramatic and attention seeking. And I could tell he was really concerned about me. And I just ended up speaking to him honestly, and I said, I personally am struggling a little bit emotionally. I feel like I'm basing my behaviors so you can be proud of me, and I don't feel like I'm doing what makes me happy because I'm too busy chasing your approval. And it just opened up this world of communication, and you know, we actually were able to develop this bond of being able to speak to each other honestly. And I think that's the best relationship you can have with your parents, or your relationships, or whoever in your life is important to you. But a lot of the time we hold back out of fear because we're worried that we're going to be punished. And that is the human being's biggest fear in life, is that should we stand up for what we believe in and say how we feel, that we will be punished and we will be in trouble and we will be banished and we'll be alone, and all these things that we fear for our safety. But over time, suppressing how you feel is not healthy. It comes up in physical symptoms, disease in the body, and you just don't feel like life is that enjoyable because you're holding on to all this angst and frustration. you'd love to just share how you're feeling with someone, and no matter how ridiculous it sounds, if it feels like it's a vital part to you, it needs to be said. And if you don't always have someone to speak freely about it, I always suggest journaling. Write it out as if you're speaking the truth to someone. Write a letter, everything you want to say, whether it's anger, frustration, purge it, just let it out. And a lot of the time you'll feel so much better for just getting it out of your system. Whether it's been created by a belief, whether it's made up in your head, whether it's from an actual real pain or traumatic time, I don't know what it is for you, and that's not my business. But my business is to tell you it is safe to express how you feel at any given moment. No matter how scary it is at the time, when you are speaking your truth, it's going to make the pathway so much clearer. If you're just being dramatic, okay, it's probably going to cause some shit. So pay attention. Think about how you feel. If it's how you truthfully feel, express it. Let it out. Again, if you don't have someone to speak to, journal, dance, run. Physical activity is a great way. Talk to yourself. Be honest. Be real. Be hurt that that boy broke your heart, or be upset that you don't feel like you're loved by your parents, or that you got fired from your job. Like, it's okay to be upset about it, but just don't wallow in it. By expressing it, you're giving yourself that opportunity to move forward, open the doors to what's next, what's best, and what's you, most importantly. So I hope that helps anyone struggling at this time. And thank you so much for tuning in.